Have you ever stumbled across something so bizarre you couldn't even begin to imagine what its purpose is? Well, the items these people stumbled across were so strange, their only choice was to turn to the internet for answers. And the answers they found were even weirder than expected. Number 20. Baffling Bones. When a Reddit user found these peculiar animal remains, they assumed they must be the claws or skeletal hand of some strange mammal. But thanks to the site's knowledgeable user base, it was revealed that they are in fact grass carp teeth. Grass carp were introduced to North America in order to control aquatic weeds, which is what those big chompers are for. But here's the weirdest part. Unlike most animals, grass carp keep those teeth at the back of their throat, rather than the front. So keep your fingers well clear. Number 19. Puzzling pouches. A man discovered these tiny little bags, which smelled strongly of potpourri, on the hood of his truck after he'd left it in a parking lot. But these weren't the remnants of an explosion at the arts and crafts swap meet. It turns out they're a Native American tradition called prayer ties. They're filled with fragrant herbs and tobacco and are used to pass along wishes, gratitude, and best intentions. Of all the smelly things someone could leave on the hood of your truck, these are certainly one of the best. But as for who the well-wisher was, or what their intentions were, we'll never know. Number 18. Strange symbols. These two creepy occult symbols were spray-painted onto a garage door in an apartment complex in Austin, Texas. Concerned, an occupant of the apartment block asked the internet what was going on. It turns out the symbols aren't gang signs or random graffiti. They are supposedly symbols or sigils used by practitioners of magic. For those who believe in these symbols' power, the one on the black door is meant to direct harm back upon an aggressor. The one on the white door is a banishment ward for ridding a place of evil spirits. Whether or not you believe in any of that stuff, it's certainly a creepy find. Maybe we're better off not knowing what evil presence the symbol painter was trying to get rid of. Number 17. McMystery flavor. An unfortunate customer at McDonald's bit into a double quarter pounder with cheese and discovered a strange blue substance that made its way into his burger. What's worse, he tasted it before he saw it, describing its flavor as distinctly chemical. McDonald's employees online quickly identified the blue stuff as a chunk of the gloves that are used to handle the raw patty. The chemical taste was the partially melted plastic of the gloves. Not exactly delicious. Probably just as nutritious as a glove-free burger from the fast food chain. Number 16. Structure in the woods. This odd little structure was stumbled upon in the middle of a forest in Germany. But it's not a heavy-duty outhouse or retro spaceship. It's a Splitterschüssel, which sounds like some sort of delicious baked good, but is in fact a one-person bomb shelter built during World War II. Made from reinforced concrete, they may not be very comfy, but they saved countless lives from bomb blasts and light gunfire. Number 15. Sphere from Beyond. A hiker in New Mexico encountered this 18-inch diameter metal sphere in the middle of the desert at White Sands National Park. Initially baffling most viewers, someone eventually came forward to suggest it's probably space debris, specifically a titanium sphere. And this isn't just wishful extraterrestrial thinking. Metal spheres and half-spheres are occasionally found around the world, having come loose from spacecraft altitude control systems or released during takeoff. Certainly a bizarre find, but one of the coolest so far. Number 14. Ceiling rug. This intriguing ceiling installation was spotted in a plantation house from the 1700s, spawning a debate as to its purpose. It looks like a Home Alone-esque booby trap, but it is in fact a very old-fashioned ceiling fan, common in the American South where summers were harshest. The rope would be pulled to move it back and forth, cooling people while they ate, and also keeping flies away from the food. Number 13. Mighty decor. When a Reddit user shared this picture of the odd black coloration that was all over the walls of the hostel he was staying at, he wondered what the cause could be. A gothic decor choice? No, much worse. It's a sign of a serious termite infestation. More specifically, the blackness comes from termite mud tubes within the walls, which are not treatable by fumigation. So good luck at that hostel, pal. Number 12. Fallen pebbles. These pebbles, commonly found throughout Egypt, may look like moldy bread, but they are so much more than meets the eye. These bluish stones are in fact alien in origin. They don't come from this planet. They arrived as part of a much larger meteorite, and scientists believe they were forged in space before our sun even existed. Number 11. Jar of the Bazaar. While one upstanding citizen was cleaning up trash along the side of the road, they were rewarded for their community service with the misfortune of finding this. It's a jar full of little hooves. Could it be the misplaced property of some witch who needs it for a ritual? Perhaps an unusual good luck charm. Maybe. Or equally likely, someone may have been trying to make their own glue. Some woodworkers still use good old-fashioned animal glue that you can make by boiling down hooves in a pot. Needless to say, this is the least vegan-friendly way you could possibly stick two pieces of wood together. No one's entirely sure whether that's really the purpose of this strange find, but it behooved me to share it with you, nonetheless. Number 10. Leftovers. A Redditor's relative found this organic-looking chain of mysterious origin while mowing their lawn. As you can tell by the look on his face, he has no idea what the thing is, other than gross looking. But the probable truth is way grosser. It may be the uterine tube of a snake loaded with eggs. In all likelihood, the snake was caught by a bird of prey or some other predator, which then tore the poor snake open for meat. Probably flew off with the snake's body, while the egg tube either slopped off or was left behind for a lighter escape flight. Damn, nature. Number 9. Digital medicine. This bottle of oxycodone was found in the woods, which would have been strange enough had it not also contained some sort of electronic device among a few cracked pills. Either way, the internet came through, explaining that this is a so-called bait bottle used to catch pharmaceutical thieves. Pharmacies put them in among the real bottles where they can be stolen and their location can be tracked by the police. This one may have been ditched by a thief who caught on to the ruse and managed to escape, or maybe they just had too much of a hard time swallowing the circuit board. Number 8. Unhappy Meal. Another unhappy McDonald's customer was left confused and alarmed after they found this pointy little object in her burger. They were right to be concerned because they'd nearly swallowed the needle tip of an insulin pen. The unhappy customer went to hospital for a checkup after the incident, which made international news. Somehow I don't think a free milkshake would have been enough to make up for this mouthful of a mistake. Number 7. Turtle Human. On a trip to Japan, a man stumbled across this bizarre display depicting an illustrated man who's retreated into the comfort of his oversized ribcage. Not able to read Japanese, the only text the original poster could read was the English that stated simply, "How to make a turtle human." The explanation isn't any less weird. It's a storefront promotion for one of Japanese artist Satoshi Kawasaki's books about what humans would look like with various animals' bone structures. It covers all bases, from flamingos to horses, and even birds, each more disturbing than the last. Number 6. Feather Ball. This ball of feathers fell out of the sky into the garden of an Idaho couple who only grew more perplexed the closer they looked at it. The outside looks like a perfectly spherical bird, while the inside looks disgustingly fleshy and is full of what the internet identified as fly eggs. So what in all hell is this thing? Well, when predatory birds such as hawks prepare to eat prey birds, they sometimes pluck swathes of feathers off at once beforehand. Sometimes skin also gets ripped off in the process. Under certain conditions, this skin can form into a ball as it dries out and pulls the feathers inward. What's left is the weird ball of feather and skin that you see here. I think I'm gonna skip lunch today. Ugh. Number 5. Aquatic Alien. This strange object, resembling an extraterrestrial's lost maracas, was found during a kayaking trip along the Mississippi River. This weird, colorful thing is in fact a colony of Phylactelemata bryozoa, a moss animal that usually forms in salt water. It likely found its way into the freshwater Mississippi by drifting in through tributaries before joining the kayaking party. It may give off a vibe like a mouth could suddenly appear and bite that hand off, but in reality, they're harmless, just weird looking. Number 4. Toothpaste Killa. This very creepy face made of teeth was found at an estate sale. The sellers didn't know where it came from, but the buyer had it inspected by a dentist who confirmed it was made from adult human teeth. For the question of why, the buyer turned to the internet. The most likely theory is that it was created by a bored dentist or student who had some spare dentic acrylic, some leftover teeth, and too much spare time. Worst of all, apparently this type of thing is a fairly common boredom cure in the dental world. I certainly wouldn't like to have a dentist who did things like this with my removed wisdom teeth. I'm getting strong serial killer vibes from this one. Number 3. Sea Monster. When a man went fishing in the Philippines, he was shocked to catch this hideous thing. With the help of Reddit, he eventually figured out it was a species of bristleworm. or polychaete. If you ever encounter one, avoid touching the thin bristles at all costs, as they'll get stuck in your skin like fiberglass, making it feel like it's on fire. Now that you know, probably best to throw any of these things you come across back into the water immediately. Number 2. Sea Brain. This weird brain-like creature was not what the Image's original poster had wanted to pull up out of his crayfish cage from 130 feet under the sea. Obviously, it's not a crayfish, for starters. It's actually a whole bunch of closed sea anemones, which occasionally gather together into fleshy lumps like these. While not exactly a popular dish in the West, in countries like South Korea, certain species of anemone are eaten. So maybe this guy shouldn't be too disappointed in his catch here, even if it does look like something out of a John Carpenter movie. Number 1. Furry Nightmare. This creature, which appears to be native to hell and human nightmares, was found on a Redditor's lawn chair. Luckily for them, it wasn't sent there from another dimension to usher in an age of chaos and insanity. It's just a monkey slug, and it's completely harmless to humans. But monkey slugs aren't monkeys or slugs. They're the larval form of the hag moth. They grow up into pretty normal looking moths, so try not to judge hag moths during their awkward middle school phase. I mean, imagine if this was your yearbook photo.